Hello, this is Karen, and welcome to an episode of Travel Talk. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about another question that came in. What are baggage fees? Let's go. So, baggage fees, there was a time when you could take as many bags as you want. Well, not as many bags as you want, but I think it's like usually up to 2 bags for free. And as long as it's within a certain weight, usually less than 50 pounds. But a few years ago, the airline started charging for bags. So what they did, they took the airfare and they separated all the different parts of the airfare. One of the part of the airfare they separated is baggage fees. And so they started to charge, I think it was like $20 for a bag. Then it became 25, then it became 30. Now I think it's like 35. And what that means is if you're going to be checking a bag, depending on the fare you buy, you may have to pay a baggage fee, right? And this baggage fee vary by airline, and sometimes it varies by destination. So international might be a little more than the domestic flights. And actually in certain countries, baggage fees are government regulated. So you can't charge a certain amount. Like I think the fees to Brazil are different than the fees if you're in the United States. So sometimes it's not really the airlines that do it, it's regulated by the local authorities. Now, in terms of uh, what the different charges are, usually if your bag is, I think it's usually 62 linear inches. Now, this is United States. In Europe, it's a little different. And the whole thing behind baggage fee is the carrier that you first start with is who determines your baggage allowance. For example, if I'm going from Houston to, say, Barcelona, and I'm connecting in London, and I'm taking British Airways from Houston to London, and then Iberia from London to Barcelona. British Airways rules is what dictates how many bags I carry, also dictates the size of my carry-on bag. Which the problem that Americans usually have is they may have smaller bags, and then when they get to Europe, they can't fit. So let's say they take United over or American or something like that, and the carry-on size bag is a little different than when you arrive in your other destination. So now you get to the other, let's say you get to Heathrow, let's say you took American to Heathrow. Now you get to Heathrow and you need to take Iberia. Well, the baggage requirements for Iberia might be a little different. But because you started with American, you're usually okay. But bear that in mind. The requirements, if your bag does not fit the airline requirements, you're going to have to pay the difference. So sometimes they allow you to take the bag, but you have to pay, on the plane, or sometimes they will charge you for the bag and you have to check it. When I fly with Ryanair, my backpack is too big according to Ryanair standards, and every other airline it's fine. So whenever I travel Ryanair, I pay them the $35 and I check my little backpack because I don't want to deal with it. So you need to know the rules for the airline. Now, how do I know this? When you buy your ticket, you get an email. And the email, now they're really sophisticated. It'll tell you how much bags you're allowed and how much they charge. So when you get the receipt, it shows you, says first bag is this much, second bag is this much. Now, how can you avoid these charges? If you're a frequent flyer, an elite member, depends on the status you have, it also comes with baggage. So, well, and I guess at least this time, coming with baggage is a good thing, right? Usually coming with baggage is not. But you're allowed a certain amount of allowances based on who you are. Also, if you have a credit card with the airline, you sometimes don't, like if you have like United has what's called a Presidential Plus card. And if you have that card, you don't have to pay for your first bag. With Delta, if you have the American Express, Delta platinum card, you don't have to pay for the first bag, and I think you may not have to pay for the second. If you're traveling first class, you're normally allowed 2 free bags or sometimes 3 free bags, as opposed to if you're in economy, then you have to pay for the first one. If you're overweight, i.e. you're over the 50 pounds, it skyrockets, and skyrockets by a lot. So be careful of that. Sometimes if your bag is over 100 pounds, you can't even check it to carry on the plane. You have to send it cargo, which will cost you more. Some airlines don't allow skateboards, so you need to check that. Some airlines, if you have a surfboard, it's sometimes free depending on where you're traveling to. If you have a golf bag, usually for some, well, I shouldn't say for some reason, it's business travelers and airlines are catering to the business travelers. So normally you can take a golf bag for free. What else is oversized? No, things that are oversized, when you check them, you have to pick them up in a different location. They normally have an oversized area. But the key is go to the airline you're traveling on their website, check and see what they're charging for bags. And sometimes when airlines are trying to upsell you, they'll tell you, hey, if you pay this much more, then you get, you'll be able to carry an extra bag and things like that. Now, one of the things that happens is, so the airline, they will charge you for a bag, but when you get to the airport, if you have your carry-on and your carry-on is quote unquote too big, but you've passed through security with it and you get to the gate, sometimes they will check it for you for free, or depending on the airline you're flying, they will charge you for it. And at that point, you don't have a choice, because your choice is to go back out through security and try to check it, but you may not have enough time because boarding has already started. Or if it's an international flight, you've already left the country because they've stamped your passport already, and you can't go back through immigration to drop the bag off. So you have to pay for it if you want to take it with you. And you can't just leave it. So you have to take it and you have to pay for it. So it's good to research and figure out how all this stuff works before you travel, because otherwise you're going to have all these problems, and you're probably going to be one of these people that you see at the airport who has their bags open and they're checking the bag and they're weighing them, or they're putting bags, they're putting clothes on, they have like 4 or 5 shirts on and all that kind of stuff just to get below the weight limits that they have. Some airlines will do 70 pounds, some will do 50 pounds, depends on where you're flying to. But typically 70 is the ceiling. Anything over that, it's normally excess, and you have to pay extra for it. And like I said, it is not cheap. It's usually like $200. Now, when you fly airlines like Southwest Airlines in the United States, they give you 2 bags free. And this is their big selling point. Now, this may not last forever. They may at some point decide to charge you for those bags. So be aware of that and be cognizant that this kind of stuff may happen. Again, check your receipts, because your receipt normally tell you exactly how much it is. Now, sometimes it's weird. If you have frequent flyer status and you're booking, let's say I'm an American, I'm booking on British Airways, and I'm platinum with American. So that makes me, I think it's sapphire with the One World Alliance. And so I get a special allowance for my bags. But when I'm booking with British Airways, they don't realize that. And so they're telling me that I have to pay for my bag. Now, when I get the receipt shows the correct information, because by then the airlines have talked to each other now, and they know that I am elite and I don't have to pay for the bag. Or when I go online and look at my reservation on the British Airways website, it'll tell me that I don't have to pay for the bag. So just bear that in mind. Just know that if you're elite, know what you get as an elite member, know what you get as an elite member with a particular credit card, know what you get with the credit card, know what you get without the credit card. How do you know all of this? On the airline website, they will tell you. If you go look under baggage fees, it'll tell you what the exceptions are. The other thing to think about too is, for baggage, there is something called embargo. So usually to the Caribbean in the summertime, no boxes. And It doesn't matter what size the box is, it's not going to happen. They said have an embargo period. So look at that. That means you get to the airport, you have a box, it can't go. You have to figure out how you're going to take it. Usually you have to put it in another bag or something and take it there. The airlines actually have these big bags that you can put stuff in. And sometimes they have boxes that you can use. The other thing is bicycles. Same thing, the airlines have some bicycle boxes you can use. I don't know if they charge you for it, depends on the airline, but just be prepared. Know what you're bringing and know how to package whatever you're bringing. If you're going to do a box with like a TV or something like that, make sure it's the right size, because if it's over the size, then you have to pay. With when you take a box, normally the box is one of your carry-on items, or you can have both. So instead of having a suitcase, you can have two boxes, but make sure it's not embargoed. Some destinations have boxes embargoed all year round. Again, this is on the baggage information on the airline's website. That is the key that you need to check. If you bought from an online agency, you may not see this information because not all online agents have the ability to pull the information from the airline. So once you bought your ticket, go to the airline website, put your confirmation number and your last name in it's usually at the managed reservations area. It'll pull up all your information. Once all that information is pulled up, you're going to make sure that you will see how much bags you're allowed, what the weight should be, and all that kind of good stuff. So I hope that helps. Again, the key, make sure you check the airline website for what you have. You may, if something you can just buy up to another fare and it costs you less to go to the next fare than to pay for the bag. So if you're going to go up one fare and you get the bag and you get to board early and all the extra perks, then why not just do that than having to sneak around, and then you're trying to get the bag on and the agent goes, that bag is too big, and then you have an argument and you get thrown off the flight, and all you had to do was just pay them the extra for the extra services. I hope this helped, and that was a great question. So thank you very much. This is Kerwin with Travel Talk. Have a great trip and watch those bags that you're checking.